Welcome back to Beyond Adjustments, the show where we zoom out from the spine and zoom in on what really drives transformation in both practice and life. I'm your host, Amin Said, and today we're stepping into territory that's part philosophy, part neurology, part whoa. Did he just say thoughts can change my body? Uh, we're talking about concept therapy. All right, folks, a quick heads up. I'm still figuring out where I stand on all of this. So if you hear me push back at times, it's not me being difficult. It's just me working to understand it better. And Dr. Mike, who is on our show today for the second time, by the way, has graciously agreed to show me a little grace if I wander into yeah, but territory. So concept therapy is not just a philosophical rabbit hole. Right? It's a clinic tool that digs into the subconscious beliefs and mental patterns that might be sabotaging physical healing. Think of it as adjusting the mind so the body can follow. And my guest today, he's not just read the book on it, he lives this work. Dr. Mike Patten is a chiropractor who has fully integrated, or at least is starting to fully integrate, concept therapy into his daily practice. We're talking practical applications, real patient cases, and how understanding suggestion, perception, and universal laws can literally change care outcomes. Yeah, I said it. All right. Anyway, we'll get into it. Dr. Mike, welcome back, my friend.
Hey, I'm so happy to be back here. This will be a really, really fun conversation.
Yeah, I can't wait. Now, I really can't wait because, like I said, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around all this. It's crazy stuff. But I love it because you also have practical ideas around it and real life use cases. So we'll get into it. So for the folks in the back who are brand new to this, what is concept therapy in your own words, please?
At its essence, concept therapy is a philosophy of life. Now, when I hear the word philosophy, I actually had to go look it up. Philosophy just means a way of life. It's a way to live. So it's not just a philosophy in the sense of head knowledge, like kind of what I thought it was. It's a practical way that you can live your everyday life by getting in tune with these universal laws that are out there to have your health, happiness, and success and a degree of peace.
Mm. I mean, honestly, I'm asking because, concept therapy to me sounds like something you'd find in like a personal development retreat in like Costa Rica or something.
Yeah.
But I know it's got roots somewhere and in actual chiropractic and clinical work.
Mm-hmm.
But how does it differ from like the traditional chiropractic philosophy?
So, it's, let's see if I can figure out how this one. So concept therapy itself it's therapy is a treatment of some sort. And so we have different therapies that we use in our clinic every day. And this is going to be the real long version to answer your question.
Yeah, go
And
for it.
so concepts are things that we hold in our mind, in our subconscious mind, and even our conscious mind. We hold a concept or an idea. Like you may have a concept of who your dad is or who your mom is or family. And whenever you violate that concept, you bring pain, you bring anger, you bring up all these emotions. And so it's literally changing these ideas in our subconscious mind and in our conscious mind in order to gain a better expression or gain a better life. How that gets used in a clinical setting that's what D.D. Palmer was doing. Like that's literally, he talked about get the big idea. The big idea was to change these concepts in your subconscious to bring about healing. And then Thurman Fleet comes along in 1931, has his peak experience in consciousness is what he called it. And he kind of had got downloaded all this information into his subconscious mind and spent the rest of his life trying to get it out and explain it to everyone else so they could go through a similar process and how to clean out all these concepts that are not helping an individual in life, as well as for a doctor to help a patient who says, "Hey, I'm not a fast healer." Well, that's a negative concept. And if you're a
Mhm.
doctor working with that, you're going to have a patient that's going to take a lot longer to get better than someone that comes in and says, "Hey, I'm a fast healer."
Mm. What pulled you into this? Like, was it just curiosity, or did you have that kind of one case or moment where you thought, okay, like this works?
Well, see, again, it's going to be story time. It's
Do it,
always
man. Let's
it's always story.
go
So,
for it. Yeah.
um, when I was in like my second year of practice, a patient comes in, low back pain, right
Hmm.
side. I can still see it. I know the room I'm in, and it's like his third adjustment. He's no better. So I go grab my dad, and I'm like, "Dad," and my dad practiced for almost 40 years. He was a phenomenal chiropractor. I'm like, "Dad, come in and check this guy out. He's not getting results." He started to get frustrated.
Hmm.
And I want to help the guy. Like I generally wanted to help him. And he's not, I can tell that he's frustrated and he's getting ready to leave and not come back. So my dad walks in the room, talks to him for a second, finds out that he was in the military around the same time my dad was. And my dad's like, "All right, we got to get you better," lays him down, checks him out. He uses a Thompson technique and then goes, "Oh, your problem's right here." It was a Thompson-ish technique because my dad had his own spin on things, and found a T12 that was anterior and flipped him over and did an A to P adjustment. The guy got up and says, "Hey, back feels great. Like almost pain is all gone." And I'm like, "What just happened?" So we go back in my office, and I'm like, "What'd you just do?" He's like, "Well, I use this technique." That's what I did. "Well, I found this bone." That's what I did. "I found it this direction." That's what I did. "And well, I adjusted him like this." That's what I did. "I was literally standing right next to you when you did this whole thing. How come he got better with your adjustment, not with mine?"
Not mine.
And my dad couldn't explain it. He didn't know how, and he tried to, but he didn't understand the mechanics, but he was able to do this, and he was able to do it at a very high level and high degree. And so in that, it made me start to think a little bit. And as the years start going by, you look at first in chiropractic, it's always physical. Everything's a physical technique, everything's a physical adjustment until it doesn't work. And then you go into, I went into nutrition at that point and learned everything I could about nutrition. And I was learning nutrition at the time as well. And so then I'm like, "Oh, I just got to do this different," until that didn't work. And then it was an aspect of nutrition and that didn't work. And then I was really trying to focus on some different aspects within kind of both of them to get them to work better. And it wasn't working. And then I looked at another technique, and there's a doctor that was teaching the zone technique, but it was a very watered down version of what Dr. Fleet taught. And this doctor could not answer the questions that I had and was not able to fill in these holes. And so I'm like, "Well,
Mm.
let's go to the source. I'll just go to concept therapy. It's still around. I'll go get a book and I'll start reading." So I got one of the books and I started reading it, and then I got the next book and I started to read that one, and eventually reached out to Maddox, who's a mentor of mine. I talked to him on the phone every week, and I have for the past 5 years. He's not a chiropractor, but Dr. Fleet trained him in concept therapy, and I talked to him, asked him questions. How does this work? How does this fit together? And he helped me understand the work. Well, I have spent the last 5, 6 years applying it in a clinical setting, how it works in a clinical setting. And because Dr. Fleet was a chiropractor and he originally only taught chiropractors. And so as I started going through the work, I just kind of wanted to learn more and more like, okay, how does this fit together? I had to straighten things out for me so I understood. And so as I kept going, I found it really brought some different passions and interests of mine together along with chiropractic. So it made it very easy for me to just continue to learn and to evolve through it to try to understand it more.
Mm. I do have a question. I did read something about suggestion,
Hmm.
right? And you know me, like most people, we have like a skeptical streak in us, right?
Hmm.
So when I hear suggestion,
Hmm.
I'm picturing a stage,
Yep.
like a hypnotist,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
telling someone to, quack like a duck, right? But here, we're saying suggestion can actually alter a patient's healing trajectory. How does that kind of
100%.
show up in practice though?
Yeah. So what we don't know, and I didn't know until I went through concept therapy, is I was an expert at using suggestion on the dumb side.
Okay.
Suggestion, we use it every day, and you
Okay.
use it without even thinking about it.
Mm,
Here's an example of a suggestion. Someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, do you want to go out for lunch?" And you go, "Sure. Where do you want to go?" "Oh, I want pizza." "I don't know if I feel like pizza. Let's go get a hamburger." "All right, let's go get a hamburger." That's an example of a suggestion.
mhm,
But we don't think of it as suggestion because a lot of what we're taught on it, or it has come through this, and we're not even taught, it's just a experience we have, is through some stage performance where people get them to do very goofy and weird things. Now, that's a very simple approach to suggestion. Now, suggestion is really just a transfer of a kind of a thought, image, idea. So another example of suggestion would be is if there's really three kinds of suggestion. One of them would be a freestanding suggestion where I say, "Hey, it looks like it's going to rain," and you're free to look outside and look up and go, "I don't think it is." Now I offered a suggestion that it might rain, and you chose not to accept it. Another one would be a you get a auto suggestion where you're like, "Oh, I'm cold. I know every time I'm cold, I get a cold. I get a cold." And so you start to shiver, and pretty soon you produce the condition that you thought about. And D.D. Palmer talked about that in the blue book or the green books about how suggestion and autosuggestion is one of the main causes of disease.
mm.
And the last one would be a hypnotic suggestion where you put someone into a hypnotic trance where they're no longer in control of their reasoning faculties, and someone suggests an alternate state, and then it's produced within the body.
Mm. You mentioned, I want to go back a little bit.
Hmm.
That makes sense. I understand it conceptually. I understand what you're saying.
Hmm.
But I want to pull the conversation back just a little bit,
Hmm.
outside of the suggestion piece, because you actually mentioned diet too.
Yep.
And on our last recording session, you laid out for me how you look at diet.
Hmm.
And I was blown away just by the way you suggested where you look at diet. Can you actually walk us through that before we continue our conversation? Because I think it's important. I want to get it out there again.
Yeah. So this actually comes out of Dr. Thurman Fleet's book, Raised to the Dawn. And I helped edit this book back into an original form that Dr. Fleet intended it to. And in there, he has a chapter on the law of nourishment. So in all of Dr. Fleet's work, it's based on the universal laws that run and govern this world.
Okay.
And there's laws around, and I'm going to get to your question. As you can see, I'm a little long-winded in getting to it. But
Not at all. Go for it.
so there's laws that exist around the quantum level. There's laws that exist around the atomic level. There's laws that exist around like plants and how they move, and animals and how they move. And then our world, we have laws out there every day. You can't drive down an interstate at 100 miles an hour and not expect at some point you're going to get pulled over and have to pay the penalty for that law. They exist and they operate in our world. So what Dr. Fleet did is he has a book that's called Raise of the Dawn. The first 4 chapters are 4 laws on our body and what you need to do in order to keep a body healthy. And the first one, and the most violated out of all of them, is the law of nourishment. And he breaks it into 4 categories. The first one is, he calls it builders. Now, builders are things that build your body up. So you can think of it as like the 2x4s to build a building, or the cement walls or the blocks, or whatever you want to call it. It builds the outside of your structure, your muscles and your bones. And without it, you don't have this structure to work from. And that's all your chicken and your beef and your pork and anything that can run, jump, fly, swim, get away from you. That's your builders, along with your dairy products.
Okay.
Now, your next category is going to be eliminators. Now, eliminators go in there and they dissolve waste out of your body, and then they eliminate it out of your body. That's all your fruits and your vegetables, but not your potato, corn, or bananas. They're too starchy to really give you that eliminative effect. Now, the next category are lubricators. Lubricators, it's just like if you're in a car, you need oil in that engine, or that engine seizes up and it doesn't move. And we're the same way. And that's all the oils we put in our body: olive oil, avocado oil, nuts and seeds, butters. You don't want the crappier oils. You don't want those vegetable oil things out there. You don't want those. So there is quality to that too. And then the last one are congesters. Now, these are things that plug the body up.
Mm,
And you think of it, it's breads, grains, pastas, cereals, candy, alcohol, soda, any of those type of things, they plug and they slow the body down. Just like if you're congested, you get all stuffy up here, you're congested, it slows everything down. Now, none of the categories are bad. It's just how it changes the body when you
mm,
consume them. And then when you properly follow this law, you can understand like, hey, I've been eating too many congesters and now my body is congested. You would
mhm.
simply know, hey, if I start eating more eliminators, it'll begin to take that waste out of there and balance the body.
Right. Yeah. So cool, man. Like seriously, I think it's the coolest concept. And it kind of helps you like even picture it, right? Like
Yeah.
visualize it, I should
Hmm.
say. Like I'm gonna do, this much percentage of this group, this much percentage of this group, and so on. And you can kind of like level it out to see what your body does and how it does it. Yeah, really cool. All right, back to topic. I wanted to throw that in there because
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought it was really cool. But yeah, so I want to talk about like the thoughts, beliefs, and of course the nervous system,
Hmm.
right? We know uh, mindset matters. I can tell you mindset matters, whether I believe in what you're telling me right now or not, right? Mindset matters. It
Hmm.
what helps us do things and prevents us from doing things. Um, but but what we're saying here is that thoughts and beliefs can actually rewire healing outcomes. That's
Hmm.
like this is where I start to push back, right?
Hmm.
And ask a little bit more, right? Like, give me some examples of when I know you mentioned um, the patient where your father came in and you helped out, but give me like another example of when you've seen this happen.
It, as far as when someone comes in with a thought or something that's prevented them from healing.
Yeah, because we're saying like, yeah, yes, because we're saying like thoughts and beliefs can actually rewire us, right? And
Hmm.
and essentially the whatever that healing outcome could be could
Hmm.
possibly be prevented by our thoughts and beliefs, or it could
Hmm.
help enhance our healing outcome, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So maybe an example of when a patient came in preventing their body from doing so or doing what it's supposed to do, heal.
Hmm.
And then that shifted once this took place. This mindset took place.
Let's find if we. Let's think of a good one. Um, here's a humorous story. It's a little. They're more entertaining when they're humorous and a little off color too. So I had a lady come in and very upset. So when they come in and upset, they had gotten one of their concepts that has been ruffled up a little bit. And it had been ruffled up with work. And so she was very upset with how she was treated. And at that point, when someone's very upset, they're one directional, one minded. And any suggestion you're going to give is going to bounce off unless you can break that concentration. And knowing this and knowing she was upset, I knew all I had to do is if I could break her concentration enough, I could get a healing suggestion in there and she could begin to heal.
Okay.
But because you think about what happens when you're upset, everything squeezes and
Tighten up.
tightens.
Yeah.
Well, how can you adjust someone if they're like this? And until you break their concentration on that idea, they're going to stay like this. Your physical treatment's going to do nothing. They're going to walk out pretty much the same they walked in. So she's laying on the table and she's complaining about the boss and this person at work and that person at work. And my boss was talking about this. And I said, look, this could have been a whole lot worse. And she said, well, how could that be? I said, well, he could have called you a slut. And it was so surprising to her. And I don't know why I choose that word.
Why?
I
Why?
don't know. It was so off the wall. I was just inclined
Oh
to use that word,
Lord.
but it was so shocking to her.
Yeah.
It made her stop thinking. And she started laughing. And she's just like, what in the world? Well, it was long enough for now I could treat her. And the headache she came in with and all this tension she came with, within 5 minutes was completely gone.
Wow.
And she's laughing and she's doing it. But it's understanding that she has a concept that she's holding on to and she's focused on it very intensely. Now, do I normally talk like that and act like that? No, I do
I hope
not.
not.
I do not. So, I mean, I told you it's a wild story, but it proves the point that sometimes you need to use something to break the patient's concentration. And that's what concept therapy has taught me is I understand that person has a concept that's running right now and it's negative in nature. And unless I can break that concentration on that concept, we're in the same place.
Yeah.
Now, what happens after that is why did that concept get formed in the first place? And then how do we work with that and
Mhm.
start coaching them through that so it doesn't happen again?
Yeah. Yeah.
That-
I think if this is where my mind goes, if like belief alone, like
Mhm.
could like grow hair, like that's where my mind goes, right? Like I'd be rocking a man bun right now, like literally. Or
Uh,
it's like, all right, bicep grow, that kind of. But no,
yeah.
I get it. No, I get it. I get what you're saying. And again, it. I mean, you saw it. It's not like you're making this up. These are real life world
Yeah.
examples. It's kind of cool. But
Well, and we've all had a patient that has walked in and they've either been skeptical about coming in or they have a medical concept, like they have to go to the doctor for something. And the chiropractor or the doctor treating gets frustrated because they're like, why are they not, coming to me for this knee pain and they're going to go get a knee replacement or operation, or why didn't they come back to me? And it's because they have a concept in their
mhm,
subconscious that says, this is where I go for that. It's not
right,
to you as the chiropractor.
right.
And you have to be able to recognize that and change it into a concept where they come to you for those things. And that's the first thing I tackle with all my patients when they come is
Hmm.
tackling like, hey, look, you may want to go to a medical doctor for anything, but come here first. Let me see it. And
Hmm.
then I'll help you get there if you need to be there, which is a nice way to massage that concept. So they see you as the gatekeeper of their healthcare world.
Hmm.
And then you can start working on these other areas besides just a neck pain or back pain.
Yeah, yeah. And then how do you figure out if a patient's like challenge is structural or rooted in, the subconscious, like resistance or what, I don't even know how to say it, or like emotional belief?
Well, if it's truly a physical problem, it's really easy. You just say, "What'd you do to cause this?"
Mm,
That's and this might violate how a lot of chiropractors think, but if someone comes in and my one of my favorite ones is, "I slept wrong." Okay, so you're telling me that
I say that all the time.
you're gonna get in a position where you lay in bed and everything's supposed to be relaxed and you wake up in the morning and your neck hurts. That makes no logical
Yeah,
sense
yeah.
in the
Well,
world.
listen, I still believe I sleep wrong sometimes. I'm just saying.
Yes. And so whenever I hear that, I'm like, look, there is no physical thing that caused this. It is not a physical thing. You went to bed with something on your mind, whether you're aware of it or not,
Okay,
that started to tighten up and squeeze those muscles.
okay.
And then you wake up, oh, it's my pillow. I need another better pillow. No,
Yeah.
you don't need a better pillow. You need to deal with the crap that irritated you in the day before. Now,
Mm,
here's the wild part about the subconscious. The subconscious is wide awake to everything that's going around you all the time.
right.
So you could be driving down the road and there could be a sign up over here that just barely gazes across your eye gate, comes in through your eye. It'll vibrate a brain cell in your brain that you may not even be consciously aware of, but it's enough. And through the law of the association of ideas and how the brain works, it's going to vibrate brain cells that are in resonance with it. And if it's one that was in agitation, now you start getting agitated and you're on edge and you don't know why. And now it calls up concepts that make you aware of all the things in the world that irritate you and that you don't like. And now your mindset goes right to that toilet. And now all these muscles begin to contract.
Brother.
They're all contracting because they're
Yeah.
tightening up. They're trying to fight. They're trying to run
Got
away
it.
or fight, that
Got it.
flight or fight mechanism.
Got
And the
it.
person like, I don't even know I'm like this. And it's like, oh, because you passed a billboard that said the political party that's opposite of your favorite, and that's all I'm going to leave it as, is doing a get together. And that was enough to irritate you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what political party it is, but it's the one that irritates you. And that's
Yeah.
the one that was on that billboard is enough to do that to you.
Yeah. I'm all about like proof and use cases. So I'm gonna push you for one more. Can you give me a story, like anonymous, of course,
Yeah.
where the game completely changed when you address that kind of belief layer?
One. So here's one. I have a young girl. She just passed 1 year seizure free.
Wow.
She's, I believe she's 22 years old now. 1 year seizure free. When she came into me, she was diagnosed epileptic. I had, and over the course of that treatment, I had numerous times where I had to sit down, sometimes an hour long, and go through different beliefs and concepts that she had in her conscious and subconscious mind. And
Mm,
we had to sit down and we had to work through all those things and show her different ways to get her to change her perspective. Now,
mm,
in Dr. Fleet's work, that all comes in what's called phase 3 of conceptology, the study of concepts. He goes through the 7 universal subsidiary laws on how to use these laws to change someone's concepts. And I would use those. And as we did, her world began to change and her health has improved. And now she doesn't have any seizures and she's great.
mm,
And her mindset's way better. She wants to go to chiropractic school. And that's one of the reasons why I spent all the time, is because she wanted to go to chiropractic school and help people. I'm like, look, then I got to sit down here and explain this to
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And as we worked on many different ideas in her world and helped straighten those out so she could live her world more peacefully and show her the causes that caused her to be irritated and then turn into these seizures, she's able to shut them down. And now it doesn't bother her. She's been for years. She doesn't have them anymore.
Wow. How often was she having seizures before that?
It was getting to a point, it was quite frequently. I would say at least one every couple weeks.
Wow.
So it was freaking enough where it was like she couldn't drive. They pulled her driver's license.
That's crazy. That's
So
crazy. Those kind of stories are what inspire me. Like when you hear somebody dealing with something for so many years and then, wow, that's awesome, man. All right. So then this kind of leads me into the kind of the clinical application,
mhm.
right, of concept therapy. Because so let's bring it into the treatment room.
Yeah.
Okay. Day one,
Hmm.
patient walks in.
Hmm.
How do you start applying concept therapy without like turning it into a counseling session, or does it turn into a counseling session? I don't know.
Well, so the first thing I do is I sit down and I just say, tell me your story. And the reason why I do that is in school, we were taught that the average doctor listens, I think it was like 7 seconds before they
Yeah.
interrupt.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And so I was like, okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure the patient feels heard. And that was kind of before I even knew concept therapy. So now I sit there and I let them tell me everything and I'm taking notes, I'm writing everything down, and then I'll begin asking questions. And it's all designed to figure out like, what is that thing that they're really wanting?
Mm,
Because that's the picture we're going to use to help get them better. And so as I go through that, I also know that these people need a chiropractic concept, a chiropractic idea.
mhm.
So as you go through and I palpate the spine and I go through, I get a spine out and I do it with everyone, whether they have been to a previous chiropractor or not. And I explain
Okay.
how a bone can move and influence that nerve and that nerve flow, either going too much or too little, and impact organs, impact muscles, and all of that. I explained it to them. So now they have a chiropractic idea of what we're doing. And that's all from concept therapy. Show me, hey, you have to do this. Because if you don't give them a chiropractic idea, they're not going to come back. They're not going to stay through care. And it leads to a much higher success rate in practice too. And
Yeah.
a lot of your practice management companies will tell you about that. Hey, you got to educate the patient. Well, if concept therapy gives you that gives you the why behind it, how it
Mm,
works on a subconscious level, and to get patients not only better, but also returning for other things. What I do then is I correlate that with their spine. And then I'll tell them like a patient I had in just a little bit ago, a young student, his neck is like, he was like this, couldn't turn his head to the right. So I'm like, look, I know all you want to do is to be able to run up and down the basketball court and be able to move your head, get your head on a swivel and be able to play defense and move up on offense, right? He's like, yeah. I said, all right, then we're going to adjust you so that happens.
mm,
So that's my image I'm trying to create.
mm.
That's the
That's the
suggestion.
suggestion.
Yep. So then now it becomes, I'm going to adjust these bones I'm going to do it in this order. And when it does, and you're telling him like, hey, look, this is going to these muscles. They're beginning to relax. Everything's going back to, and he's coming in like this. And by the time he leaves, he's like this yet, but he's like, hey, look, I can move this. I can get up and down. He's like, this is way better already. 5 minutes.
Wow. That's really cool, man. So there's this thing I read. I don't know if it's a thing or what, or if it's even like a reliable source, but there's this thing in concept therapy called a composite personality. And I don't know if you mentioned it earlier or not. I might have heard you say that. But how do you actually establish that connection so your suggestion kind of sticks?
Right. That's a real deep, big question there.
Yeah.
So the composite personality is, this is something Dr. Fleet came up with. Now, a composite personality is when two people come together and one gives a suggestion to the other that the other carries out. Now, in order to do this, the two people need to get on rapport. And Dr. Fleet explains this in concept therapy. And then he goes through phase 1 of conceptology. He devotes an entire chapter to just explaining this principle. Now, you want to get on rapport with someone. In essence, you just want them to like you. So if you can get that person to like you, and there's ways to do it, and there's laws and rules around it, you get that person to like you. Now they're going to trust you, and the person has to have faith, confidence, and belief in you as a doctor that you can help them. If they don't have faith, confidence, or belief in you, you will not be able to get a suggestion to stick ever. So they have to have that. Now you have to come up with a healing idea. And so for my one guy who was like this, my basketball player, my healing idea was, hey, we're going to get you playing basketball. We're going to get you to get your head on a swivel so you can play defense. That's my healing idea. Now I got to be able to take that idea and then transmit it over to him. Now, how am I going to do that? With a chiropractic adjustment. So this is how all techniques work. It doesn't matter what technique you use. Now, all the people that think that their technique is the best, they don't understand that they're really using suggestion, and they have such a belief in their technique that it works, and it's not the technique doing the work.
You took like literally, this is what I was going to ask, because I have a question and then really just a suggestion because have you ever seen a shift happen just from asking the right questions at the right time, or believing
100%.
So much in some, and because like I've noticed, even without trying, chiropractors specifically are constantly influencing patient belief, right? Because you got a lot of people that walk in that don't really believe in it, and they're just kind of coming in because this is their last resort or whatever, right? So would you say like every DC, one way or another, is really shaping suggestions, whether they mean to or not?
Oh, every person, every day of their life is giving and receiving suggestions, whether they are aware of it or not. And they're carrying these suggestions out their entire life. Just think about, we all have someone that said some bonehead comment to us when we were young, and you still remember it.
Yeah. Yep.
And that suggestion has shaped your life in some way.
That's so true. That I can literally, like, there's times where I'd be at the dinner table and something would spark a memory of like a very simple thing, like back in the 3rd grade, like I kid you not, like a remark that a teacher made. I'm actually thinking about it right now. He called me an idiot, shoves me out of like, it's crazy. Like it was something simple and stupid, but like it's literally stuck with me all these years.
Yeah. And so you take that, and then you can be like, okay, let's change that. So then we can change it, and I'll walk you through how I do it. But I'll do it in real time with people with just a conversational style. They won't even know that I'm doing it when I'm doing it. So there's 7 subsidiary laws to the one great law. And the first is we want to transmute this energy from a negative, a teacher calling you an idiot, into a positive.
Right.
So we're going to shift this. And already we established a point of relativity, which means first it's you think you're an idiot, and we want to get you over to you're not an idiot.
Yeah.
There's a polarity there because these things are two opposites. Okay. Now rhythm can swing from one end to the other. We already use the law of gender. The law of gender is we just came up with a new idea of you're not an idiot. And then all we'd have to do now is we just have to apply a little energy in the form of concentrated vibration, a concentration or vibration to it, and just think about it and go, okay, what is an idiot? You ever looked up what an idiot is?
I mean, I haven't. No, if you're asking me.
Well, let's look it up. Yeah, let's
Okay.
uh, look it up. Read it to me. You go type on wherever you want to type in. Read what an idiot is.
Okay. I'm gonna literally say, what is an idiot? Does the context and how it happened and what they said matter?
Yes and no.
Okay. All right, we'll start here. Okay.
Mhm.
An idiot can mean different things depending on context. Everyday language, informal, it's usually a rude or mocking term for someone acting foolishly or making poor decisions, often in the heat of frustration. That was an idiot move.
Yeah.
Historical slash medical, an older psychological classification, now outdated and offensive, idiot referred to a person with severe intellectual disability. But this usage has been abandoned for decades because it's inaccurate and demeaning. And then colloquial nuance, I think I'm saying that right. Sometimes people say it jokingly among friends to poke fun without real malice. You forgot your own birthday? You're an idiot. Basically, an insult of playful jab, and how harsh it sounds depends on tone, relationship, and intent.
So do you remember the context of when you're called that? I'm looking up something different and I'll get to my point.
Yes, I do actually, very vividly.
Yeah.
So I was in the classroom. Actually, it wasn't third grade. It was second grade.
Mhm.
And I was in the classroom. I remember where I was sitting, and the teacher asked me there was a spill in the room, or I can't remember if there was a spill in the room or something with one of the girls in the room, and she either like threw up or some sort of spill. And the teacher asked me to go get napkins from this teacher who
Mhm.
is in his office slash janitor closet. Okay. so so I leave the room and I go to the teacher. I love that we're doing this, by the way. And I go to the teacher, and I knock on the door, and he doesn't answer, and I knock again, and I heard rustling in there, so I opened the door, like I cracked it open to see, say, hey, Mr. So and so. I actually don't even remember their name. Um, and then he yanks the door open, and he's like, "What do you want?" Like that, and I'm like, "I need some napkins, Mrs. So and so, blah blah blah." He's like, "Here, you're such an idiot. Here you go." He was smoking in that room.
Mhm.
He shoves the napkins in my face, close the door, and then I leave. And then I go give the napkins to the teacher. And that's what happened.
Yeah. And then so you look at that incident and you go, if you look up the root word of idiot and where it comes from, it's actually a Latin term that is an uneducated or ignorant.
Mm,
So you go, so this individual, so now I can reframe the event for you. The individual is mad and is calling you uneducated because you were following directions and doing something, and that person was doing something they shouldn't have done, right?
right.
Does it make any sense at all?
None.
See how easy it is?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. And like I knew that, right?
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I realized that in my adult years that he was just trying to make me look like the idiot when he was the
right.
one that was actually smoking inside of a closet where he shouldn't have been smoking. But yeah.
Yeah. So it's things like that where I'll actually have people, especially with medical conditions.
Mm,
I had a young girl come in. She had just skin stuff all over her face. It looks like psoriasis.
mm,
And I said, what'd you come in for? She said, my skin. And I said, well, what's wrong with your skin? She goes, well, I have psoriasis. And I go, well, that's interesting.
hmm,
The medical diagnosis of psoriasis is only on dorsal surfaces, only on the back, not on the face.
mm,
And she said, well, a dermatologist told me that. And I said, I don't care if a dermatologist told you that. Like,
it's
this is
wrong.
what it is. I go,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that your skin is normal, but it can't be it can't be psoriasis according to the classical definition.
Mm,
It appears that way, but
mm-hmm.
it's not. And then just that is enough for someone to lose their faith in a diagnosis which now opens them up to healing.
Mm,
So then that allows me now to say, look, this isn't what it is. It's similar to it. It's not what it is. So now let's lose this autoimmune idea. Let's let go of that and just see that the body needs to be able to heal itself, and we'll give it the healing components. So we're
right.
watching her face open up and all these things go away and everything clearing
Wow.
up and her skin doing better.
That's so cool, man. That's literally the coolest thing ever. Like, again, like I got to tell you though, I'm still pulling back.
It
I'm
was
still
fun.
Mr. Disbelief here. Only for those that are watching that are like, no, I don't know about this
Mhm.
guy, right? Look, he's given us like use case after use case. That's all I got to say at this point. But um, let me ask you a question,
Mhm.
you personally.
Yep.
How do you, because we're saying, we're talking about suggestion, we're talking
Mhm.
about the beliefs and how, how do you manage your own language, your energy, kind of your posture? So
Mhm.
you're always reinforcing kind of healing instead of doubt.
Well, that comes with, as I've learned and studied more with concept therapy and went through it, and you begin to understand suggestion in its real kind of place and its real form and what its intent is, and you realize the power that your words have. And there's other aspects to Dr. Fleet's work, like his overarching aspect. Once you kind of get that big idea, you realize that you're always looking for the good in life. You're always looking for the positive. There's good in every situation. There's good that can happen. There's good that's coming out of it. And it's beginning to live and to look for all of that. And, what you look for, you find.
Mm,
And then it makes you very selective with the words that you pick.
okay.
Because, like, I looked up the word, you looked up the word idiot. I went back to an etymology dictionary to look for the base and the root word, because that's really what the word and the picture it conveys is in suggestion
Mm,
is that original word. They can abandon the usage, but that innate intelligence within still goes with that root word where it came from. And so when it's this uneducated thing, you're like, look, that's not me. Like, what is educated anyways? And so it's made me very aware to be very particular with words, not
mm,
to be just off the cuff with language, to be very exacting, choose words specifically for meaning. There's a reason why people are using language. Their language stems from previous suggestions that they've accepted. And when you understand that,
mm,
you can have more sympathy for those individuals. You can have more forgiveness for them because you realize they're enslaved to a
mm.
concept that may not even have formed themselves.
Makes you more self-aware, essentially, also like in those
Hmm.
moments. Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned universal law, right, throughout this
Hmm.
conversation. Now, concept therapy, like you mentioned, teaches the seven universal laws.
Yep.
Or so now most people hear that, including myself, and think it's purely, uh, you know, occult, hidden,
Yep.
cryptic,
Yep.
whatever word you want to use there. But you actually use these in a clinical setting. So
Hmm.
walk us through one law, maybe polarity or cause and effect, and it's actually kind of shifted a patient's healing.
Well, cause and effect is probably the best one to use because I use that especially with young kids if they're in their teens
Hmm.
and they're causing their parents trouble. I'll use cause and effect because
Okay.
if you want to take cause and effect and go into a biblical term, it's you reap what you sow. It's there. It's the same idea. It's just we're calling it cause and effect.
Hmm.
So with cause and effect, you go, okay. So I have a patient that is, say you have actually to delve into one law without kind of grabbing some of the other ones is difficult, but
That's
I'll
fine.
give you a real world example.
That's fine. Yep.
So I went to a seminar, and this was a few years back. a couple years back, whatever. Anyways, I stayed up too late because I was with a buddy of mine. Went out to eat because you're at a seminar, you're not home, so you're going out to eat for every meal. You're not exercising like you should because you're sitting down, you're listening, and you're in class all day, and you're traveling and whatnot. So bowels can slow down a little bit when you're traveling
Sure.
and eating like that. So
Yeah.
you just violated all 4 of the physical laws. So what happens when you get home? You feel like garbage. It
Yeah.
takes about
Yeah.
2 days, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
this thing comes. So you go, okay.
Right.
Most people would sit there and go, I feel terrible, and I'm going to go lay in bed and I'm going to sleep it off. And,
Mhm.
what do I got to do? And depending on your concepts is whether you go get adjusted or you go get acupuncture or massage, or whether you take drugs, you go to a medical doctor or what. I look at it, and as I immediately stop and I go, okay, I feel like crap. Now I caused this. So I'm going to initiate a new cause so I can get a new effect. I want to feel great. I currently don't. What do I got to do to initiate this? Well, I violated the 4 physical laws, so I'm going to clean my diet up immediately. I'm going to go to bed earlier tonight and the next several nights to get more rest. I'm going to take something from my bowels to help them get back to normal and do that. And I'll get adjusted in there, get that spine balanced up. And then I'm going to go for a run. And do I feel like garbage? 100%. I feel absolutely terrible the whole time,
Yeah.
but I'm going to do that to get the body moving. Now, I just did something for all 4 physical laws of the body and my own concepts. And then what happens? It takes about 2-3 days, and all of a sudden you start feeling really good, and all this crap starts disappearing.
Wow. So you kind of push through, essentially.
You're pushing
Really?
through it with knowledge.
Right. I was going to say, like, mentally.
Yeah, because you're grabbed onto the idea of feeling good, and you're holding that idea, and then you're doing things necessary in order to make this happen. Now, you could do this in a dumb way. And this is what a lot of people do, is they do use these, because we're all using these laws. We just don't know it half the time. People are they're ignorant of the laws. And so they use them in a destructive manner, because they'll go, say they go, they go out and they're trying to meet someone. And this first person they go up to just had a bad day, and they're kind of on edge, and someone comes up and they're like, leave me alone. And that dude's like, man, I just don't look good. They have no idea the situation. They immediately created in their mind this idea that they don't look good. And then now they start auto-suggesting it to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then anytime they meet a girl, all of a sudden they're saying something, they're saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. Oh, you know what? I think it's just the single life for me. And then they start grabbing all these other ideas, and they formulate in their mind that they're supposed to be single. And it's like, no, you actually just had an incident, and they use the law of vibration because you started to concentrate on, you thought this girl rejected you because they had a bad day and they lashed out at you, which wasn't right. But then you grabbed that and turned it into something totally different, and then created something that's totally not true.
Mm-hmm. See, I have a hard time talking about, or like even really fully investing in the universal laws, just because of my beliefs too, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a hardcore like Christian. Anybody who runs into me knows that I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. Like, that's who I am.
Yeah.
And like, I can see how some of them align, right? These laws, right? Like you said, cause and effect, right? Reap what you sow. It's in Galatians, right? So like, there's things that we can tie to these things, but like some of them, a little hard for me to
Like which one?
swallow. Vibration, for example,
Okay.
because to me, and what I believe, strongly believe,
Mhm.
is that God is sustaining creation.
Yep.
And the breath, or the word of God is giving life.
Okay. Think about it this way. When you speak words, what is that?
What do you mean?
Like, as words come out of your mouth, what is that? It's a vibration.
Sound.
Sound is a vibration.
Yeah.
Light is a vibration.
Yeah.
Let there be light,
Vibration. Okay,
vibration.
I can tie that.
It's the
Okay.
same. It's the same thing. It's just said in a different way. That's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
because you're taking your concepts and the language that's being used is violating your concept of what God is.
Mhm.
And so you have an immediate pullback to what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I believe strongly that, God is in everything. That's
Oh yeah,
my belief. And
I
like
agree
even
with
like
you.
rhythm, right?
Yeah.
I believe that's like seasons, you know?
Seasons,
Um
go out
and
to the Gulf here and look at the waves. It's a rhythm.
right,
Hormone cycles in the body, it's a
rhythm.
rhythm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You sleep and you wake up. It's a rhythm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what I'm gonna do is like really do a deep dive into kind of how this aligns with my beliefs with the word of
Oh,
God.
absolutely.
Honestly, I think that's what
It
what I'm gonna be doing.
concept therapy will not harm any true beliefs that you have. It will
Hmm.
not harm your religion.
Hmm.
I should any concepts or ideas that are not true, it might ruffle those.
Mm. Okay, all right, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it says it, because you look at everything vibrates in this world. Everything vibrates. So you look at, because if you ever look at a color spectrum is just how fast that's moving up and down.
Hmm.
And then we have different levels of vibration we can't see. There's infrared out there. We can't see it, but it's still there. And we can
Hmm.
do things to pick that up. Heat is a vibration. Like you ever been around someone that's really hot and we can feel that vibration coming off. So everything vibrates, everything moves. And so you look at in the beginning was God. So that means everything's God. That's it. There's nothing else besides God. And then you go, okay, so if there's nothing else besides God, how would he communicate within this? Well, he communicates through vibration. And he says, let there be light. And he says, hey, now we're going to speak over the waters of the deep, over the surface of the deep. And then creation starts to come. That's a vibration that's going over that surface to let everything come.
Mm.
And it still comes and it still moves and it hasn't stopped moving.
Yeah, and I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would. I guess that's simplified. Yes,
Yeah.
maybe what you're saying. Yeah, but I mean, there's power in God's word. Period. Right.
Yeah.
Um, Anyway, yeah, we could take this deeper and deeper, man.
Oh, yeah.
But so I'm guessing that kind of some of these results and things that we're talking about like make like the purely mechanical model chiropractor kind of go, you know, scratching their head.
Well,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, if someone they enjoy practicing that mechanical model and they enjoy doing, like, say, a scoliosis and they want to straighten it out, I have no problem with that at all. This will just help you do it better.
Mm,
It'll help you to understand suggestion and how you can apply suggestion and get better results than what you're already getting.
mm. So if a chiropractor wants to use these kind of laws effectively, like
Mm.
what kind of inner work would they kind of need to do themselves?
Well, that's what concept therapy is based off. That's why it's a philosophy of life, because you're having to live what it is.
Mm,
Because what happens when you get into the composite personality, one of the things that really inhibits healing in anyone is the doctor's own beliefs.
mm,
If a doctor doesn't believe you can heal from something, you will not heal.
mhm,
So the doctor themselves has to do their own work and work on these concepts and get a bigger picture of life in order to understand that healing is possible for anyone. Now, that comes with a caveat. There is a point of no return. I mean, you get tissue that's broken down to such a degree. I mean, you can break it down to a point where it's like, look, there's nothing that can be done. You damaged it too far. That's it.
no, I get that for sure. But even in those cases, I have to say this, even in those cases, like what I said earlier, mindset really matters.
Oh, yeah.
um I have someone in my life currently that are going to see are seeing a chiropractor against their own kind of will, I guess,
Hmm.
in a sense, against their own beliefs, because I don't think they truly believe that chiropractic actually works.
Hmm.
And I believe that is holding them back from seeing the results that they need to be seeing.
100%.
So there's that mindset piece, right? Okay, we could put it in a category under the universal laws for sure. We can say that concept therapy is involved somehow, but I'm saying like it that doesn't just happen with the patient, it happens with the doctor too, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in a situation like that, if you had a doctor that had understanding of concept therapy and what it does,
Mhm.
they could treat that patient with more understanding and help them on a deeper level than otherwise. Because if they understood that that patient's coming in against their will,
Mhm.
you can start to understand, well, why is that person enslaved to someone else's idea?
Mhm.
And then they could ask them, well, why are they willingly going through with what this other person wants? Why don't they want to be there? Those are the questions I always ask. Like,
Yeah.
oh, so and so wanted me to come. I'd be like, well, why didn't you want to come?
Right.
Like, if you don't want to be here, then don't come. Like,
Yeah.
that's okay. Like, it's not going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
But but if you don't want to get better, and I've had a patient come in that um oh, let's see here. He his pain that he had, he wanted to keep it. And I'm like, look, do you want to get rid of this or not? He's like, I don't think you can get rid of it. Okay, then don't come
Okay.
back.
Have a great day. Yeah.
Yep. And then
Yeah.
at that
Yeah.
point, because of what I know from what I've learned, it's like, look, you don't think you can heal? I'm not going to waste your time or your money, and I'm not
Yeah.
going to waste my time and money
Yeah.
because you're already fixed on this idea,
Yeah.
and I need you to not be fixed. And
Yeah.
you won't listen to any different suggestion that I give you. You won't talk about it. It's just like, look, that's the way it's always going to be. All right, fine. Have a nice day then.
Mhm. I apply that even within business, if I'm
Hmm.
being completely honest,
Oh,
because
yeah.
even with prospects, if I'm having a conversation with someone, I believe in my product.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell me that my product doesn't work because I know it does. One,
Hmm.
because I've seen it work. Two, because I've designed it. But three, if I am confronted with a prospect that is interested but is like, yeah, I don't know if this is gonna work, I don't take them on
Yeah.
because it actually affects the outcome.
Oh, 100%.
So if I'm talking to Dr. Mike, hey, Dr. Mike, this is what we do and this is what we could do for you and we can blah 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 and it is a blah blah, and we've gone through the whole thing. Tell me a little bit more about your practice. Oh, we do this, this, and that. Oh, well, why do you do this? Oh, well, why are you asking me? Well, because it matters, right? Because I need to understand your practice in order to be able to help you. Oh, okay, fine. So then we have those conversations, we go back and forth. But by the end, they're like, yeah, I don't know. I never push, first of all, because I'm just not a sales guy. I'm just telling you what I can do. But if they get there and after that entire conversation of them telling me about their practice and what they're doing, and I say, okay, yes, I can help you, they're like, I'll say, okay. Like, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I'm so glad that I got to learn about your practice. I
Hmm.
wish you all the success in the world. And we shake hands and walk the other way. Because if the belief isn't there,
Hmm.
right? If the mindset isn't there, it's going to affect the outcome. It's going to affect the outcome of even if I'm literally bleeding and sweating over your company and trying to help you, your disbelief is going to stop it. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Oh, yeah, and that's and see, you're already forming the composite with the person.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
already doing
yeah,
see, there's the thing, you're already doing these things, you just don't know you're doing them.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and that's the thing with it is we're already doing all these things and using these laws every day.
yeah,
We're just doing it unknowingly.
yeah,
So then it becomes you can actually work with it and
yeah.
you can actually use them consciously.
Mm,
And when you do it that, it helps bring happiness, it helps bring peace, it helps bring these things because now you know you're and you go, who set up all these laws in the first place? Where there's only one power that runs this world anyways. It's the one that
yeah,
set all of them up. I'm
yeah,
just working with God to do all this stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah. God through you for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
all
can
it
see
is.
that. I
Yeah.
can see that.
It's
So let's talk a little about the future of it then, right?
mhm,
Let's bring concept therapy into chiropractic and see what that looks like, right? So
yeah.
you teach this to other chiropractors. What's or you want to, I don't know if you do, but what's like what would be the number one thing or one number one mindset gap you see in kind of in the profession when it comes to this?
Well, I'm I'm in the process of being able to teach concept
Okay.
therapies courses, but I do have a Facebook group for docs that want to start to, if they have took a course or are interested, they can come in and I
Nice.
start to just teach principles about it on there.
Okay.
Um, but the goal is to be teaching in the future and to teach doctors how to use this because they're already using it on a daily basis. They just
Hmm.
don't know it. That's the crazy part about it. It's like they don't know that they don't know. And the biggest gap that I see with practitioners is they don't understand suggestion. They don't understand the power of suggestion. They don't understand how to give a healing idea. And because they don't, all their results are always capped. And what will happen is they will have one here and one there. Well, they'll have these miraculous likely results, and they're going to hang their hat on that one that they had here, or one that they had there. And they have a handful of these miracle cases they tell everyone, but they can't repeat them because they don't know how it happened. And they
Right.
think it's their technique. They think it's their supplement and modality or
Yeah.
whatever else. And really all it is they gave a proper suggestion and that innate intelligence took over and then made it happen.
Or it could have even been someone else planted that in the
100%.
patient, and then that patient walked in with that belief, and then yeah,
Yeah,
I could
they
see it.
already had
Yeah.
that's why
They were primed.
referrals, patient referrals are so much better because what
Yeah.
happens is the person tells their neighbor, "Hey, go to Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike helped me so much." So this
Mhm.
person already comes in with a
Yeah.
faith, a confidence, belief in you and
Yeah.
said, "Oh," and they might even throw in a suggestion like, "Oh, they'll definitely be able to help your back." Well, now you as a doctor has
Yeah.
almost zero. It's your job
Yeah.
not to screw it up at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Just keep your mouth closed and just do your job. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah. Yeah.
literally would not have to talk because the
Yeah.
person already got the suggestion.
Yeah.
They already
Yeah.
came in, so they're acting on the suggestion.
Yeah.
You would literally not have to say a word to that patient. You could hit them with the activator. You could tap on their back like that, and they're going to get up and they're going to be better because the suggestion's taking place.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, so you think concept therapy is becoming more relevant now that kind of we're seeing so many stress driven, emotionally uh, kind of complex cases?
Well, believe it or not, I think at one time concept therapy had over 10,000 members in the United States.
Oh,
It was actually gigantic. And there were doctors and lay people. It was a very, very big group of people. And it fell apart because there were doctors that got involved that didn't really understand what Fleet was doing.
mm,
And they tried to dumb the work down.
mm,
And when you dumb the work down, it loses all of its power and all of its effectiveness.
mm,
They tried to shortcut and make sure you make changes and things like that. It basically ruined it. So about the time I started going to classes in San Antonio, Texas, that would have been around 2021. It had dwindled down significantly, and it still really it has really took a hit.
mm,
So it's not very big, but trying to help make it known. And a buddy of mine, Dr. Sean McCaffrey, and I we will be bringing back a lot of the principles and start teaching doctors how to utilize this in an everyday arena area. And I'm like, I don't care what your technique is. I could care less. Bring your technique. You can keep doing it. I won't even take it away from you. I'll just help you do it better with more understanding so you can help more people.
mm-hmm. Didn't you tell me you were writing an article that's coming out?
I have an article in the American Chiropractic that's going to come out either October or November issue. And it talks about the three phases that a chiropractor goes through, the evolution of a doctor. It'll be fantastic. I think doctors will really enjoy it when it comes out.
Sweet, love it. Yeah, let me know when that comes out. I'll share it with my circle too. If someone like listening today says, I want to learn this,
Mhm.
where do they start?
Well, if you're on Facebook, you can type in there CT applied for healers. So it stands for concept therapy applied, and it's for healers only. So people that are doctors and things that come together ask questions, and they can even ask questions before they go any further. If they're interested in getting into a class, they can contact the Concept Therapy Institute, and they have a Zone Master Healing course that they're going through right now that they're going to launch September 1st. That's going to include, they're going to teach you about how to use the zone technique, which Dr. Fleet developed. No one else did. Dr. Fleet did. And he used that for the doctors that really didn't grab concept therapy, or they wanted easy way to use it within concept therapy. And it comes with concept therapy in phase one and a suggestive therapy class to get the doctor to start understanding suggestion. Now, you don't have to go any further than that. If you're like, look, I just want to understand suggestion, use my practice, good. There's like 3 classes you can take from them. You'll understand suggestion. You'll understand how to use it. But if you really want the high level healing results, you go through all their work. It's going to challenge the snot out of you and everything you believe, and help straighten things out to make you a more effective healer.
Cool. Okay, so 5 to 10 years from now,
Mhm.
what's your vision for concept therapy and chiropractic?
What I hope happens is that concept therapy makes inroads into the profession, and the profession understands its importance and understands the importance of suggestion. And if that happens, you'll watch chiropractic take on a whole new form, because that's essentially what all of DD's followers did when they got those amazing results with everything, is they were all using suggestion with the chiropractic adjustment. If we can get back to that, you'll watch the profession change radically and see much better, consistent healing results.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess time will tell, right?
That's right.
We'll see. But Dr. Mike, I mean, this has been one of those conversations where you don't just walk away with notes, right? You walk away thinking differently about people, honestly. Thank you again for joining me today on the show.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. It's always fun to have a discussion with someone that's curious and
Yeah.
also wants to have a conversation.
Yeah, man. So for everyone listening, we'll have Dr. Mike's links and the concept therapy resources that we were talking about in the show notes. Go check them out. And if you're a chiropractor, give this work a serious look. That's what I'll say. And as always, thanks for joining us here on Beyond Adjustments, where the goal is to expand your impact, not just through your hands, but through your awareness as well. Until next time, stay grounded, stay curious, and never stop adjusting more than bones.